Well, I'm here right now with Jack following Cloud9C's entrance into the LCS from the promotion tournament. Congratulations, Jack.
Thank you.
Yeah. So first off, there is going to be obviously a lot of conversation about what happens next for you and for the team, because last time I checked, you can't have two teams in the LCS. Right now you have two LCS teams, so something has to change.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. You should have probably looked into that before this. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's an issue.
Yes,
Well, then we're going to have a talk tonight and figure out what we're going to do.
Okay.
Because we don't really know. Like, the goal's 100% been on actually getting through this series and winning. And now we'll look at the different options we have and see where we go.
Sure. One of the interesting things, by the way, is that you have, because you have two, you can sell one of them.
Yeah.
Do you know for sure if you're keeping the main Cloud9 team?
Yeah, I mean, I would be keeping my main spot, and where we go from there, I need to talk with these guys, see what they want to do, and you know, we did this challenger endeavor at the request of the players. They wanted to try it and see if we could do it.
Sure.
And now that we've done it, you know, where do we go? I'm not sure, and we're going to talk about it tonight and kind of figure it out.
I assume that the moment you qualify in, your Skype and email and Twitter DMs and everything light up with investors who are interested in purchasing a spot. There's no thought so far that's been given to who would be able to get it?
I would love to see that my DMs are popping and my Skype is popping, and I hope that's happening. Okay. And I'd love to talk with folks about what we're planning to do. So I think after tonight, I'll have a pretty good read on what players want to do. If the players want to go into the LCS, of course, I'm going to accommodate that. Sure. And so we'll just take a look at the options we have and figure it out.
Okay. I did an interview with Steve Aronset earlier this week where he was talking about what happens if TLA gets in. One of the interesting things is that because we've seen so many times where a challenger team is qualified in and then it changes ownership and then the roster gets ejected, knowing that you can't keep both of these and that you'll be keeping your main spot, do you have any assurances in place for the players that either, whoever acquires the team, if upon, getting into the LCS, that the players get to stay if they want to, or anything where the players get compensated for a sale if they're not involved in it? Is there any kind of deal there?
I mean, all the players they're Cloud9 players, and so if they say they want to go into the LCS, I'll look to accommodate it within reason, as long as if I can. But it's I have a lot of meetings basically to do now with the players to figure out what they want to do. So they might want to stay. Hey, let's do challenger again. Sure. They might say that I want to take some time off and work on some other part of the organization. I'm not quite sure, but generally at Cloud9 we try to accommodate their wishes and make sure they're happy.
Sure. Do you have anything that you would say to any of the folks that have been talking recently about, it feels like now you're just boosting LCS teams and just farming LCS teams, not you specifically, but right. that's sort of what the challenger system has become, and sort of calls to action for Riot to try to reform it or relook at it or something along those lines?
I think the system should be looked at. I mean, we're just working within the system that we have, but I would love to see us move to maybe like a franchise model where there's some security for the teams that are already in the LCS and the players that are a part of those teams. Because right now, if you lose your spot, and I nearly had this happen last year, we were headed towards relegation. That's a massive investment from Cloud9 that gets lost. There's a massive time investment with the players, with the brand, that they potentially lose their spot. That's really hard to deal with, like every 6 months wondering if you're going to get relegated. I would love to see a more stable system for the players and for the teams. And I mean, as far as like what Cloud9 did, at the end of last split, I had a large roster of very talented players that are quite expensive, and doing this challenger endeavor was not cheap. It's quite expensive, and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone because the actual chances of winning an LCS spot are quite low. So it was a real gamble for Cloud9 to do this, and I had a lot of anxiety over the last couple months, wondering am I about to just throw out a huge amount of money on doing the Challenger Series if we don't end up with a spot? The fact that we did, sure, it's great now, but I mean, a month ago, it was pretty daunting, wondering where this was going to go. So if I was to do it all over again, not knowing the outcome, I don't think I would, because as they're paying the bills for these players, my players were paid at an LCS level. They're top quality talent, as they should be paid. But on a gamble like LCS, like getting an LCS spot, it was definitely not fun.
One of the interesting things is that assuming that we don't see changes, you actually do have the opportunity to do it all over again, like you said. And in an interview with me moments ago, Hai said, I'm not sure if he was supposed to say this, but that you guys already have some players waiting in the wings if you guys decide to do it again. Are you considering or have you thought through the creation of another challenger team?
Well, I mean, High actually delivered on his promise in that we had a third League of Legends team, like a sub team to this challenger team that played with them. And yes, we've already got it lined up and we're ready to go. Under the current system of relegation, I believe it's smart for every team to actually have a challenger team to have talent ready to step in should you have any issues with your main roster. Additionally, it's almost like a second chance. Like say my team in the LCS right now was about to be relegated, and I had a team, winning this LCS spot now. It takes a lot of pressure off my organization. Like one of the learning moments for me last year when we nearly got relegated was that I don't want to ever be in this situation again where I could potentially lose my LCS spot. And so, yes, definitely we will be participating in the Challenger Series next year if the system remains the same.
It's funny you just won the promotion tournament, and in either way, hopefully you're able to sell the team and make a profit, and it's great for all these teams. You seem very serious and very somber right now, Jack. I mean, where's the celebration?
Well, I mean, it's hard to be happy when I know that tomorrow we've got Energy and EchoFox basically fighting for their lives, and that doesn't make me feel good. That these organizations of both and these players have made large sacrifices to be where they are. It's a huge investment, and one of them is going to lose tomorrow. And so I don't really. It kind of kills the excitement for me when I see those players walking around back there and those owners walking around back there like they realize one of them is going to lose their spot, and so it kind of kills the mood.
Sure. I mean, for you mentioned this earlier, but it sounds as though you think it's time to cement the 10, at least in the NALCS, cement the 10 owners into the LCS and sort of get rid of the relegation system.
Yes, I want to move on to a franchise model, which I think will provide stabilities for the players and for the teams. I think it's really important.
Very good. Well, is there anything that you would like to say to any of the Cloud9 fans out there?
Thanks for supporting us. This last year has been a roller coaster, ups and downs, and we nearly got relegated and somehow a miracle run to Worlds, and this year we're doing much better. But the fan support consistently through the entire time has been wonderful to have. Thank you.
Well, congratulations, Jack. It's been great to see some of these favorite LCS players return and get to win today. So thank you very much.
Thanks, appreciate it.
For everyone else, you can check out the rest of our coverage, all things esports, here at Yahoo Esports.